Hi, this is Gary Brooker here from Procol Harum, and you're on Icon Fetch.
Welcome to Icon Fetch. I am your host, Tony Peters, and on the program for you this week, singer-songwriter Tommy Keene has been writing catchy, melodic, radio-ready songs for almost 30 years. In 1983, he released the EP Places That Are Gone. That 6-song collection garnered a 4-star review in Rolling Stone, and things were looking up for Tommy Keene. Not long after, he was signed to Geffen Records and put out Songs from the Film. Somewhere along the lines, Geffen couldn't figure out what he was. Was Tommy Keene a rocker, a college radio guy, or what? After 2 commercially unsuccessful albums, he was dropped. There were bites from other major record labels, but they all fell through as well, and eventually Tommy went back to recording independently, but he never lost his knack for writing great songs. After 26 years, he's released his first ever career-spanning anthology called Tommy Keene You Hear Me. We want to welcome to the program Tommy Keene. How are you, Tommy?
Doing great.
Good to have you on the program. Now, you have a brand new, the first ever career retrospective here. It's a double CD, and it's called Tommy Keene You Hear Me. Now, that's a nod to one of your favorite bands. Is that true?
Yeah, very true.
The Who there, Tommy Can You Hear Me? It's a little play on words there.
Well, you know, it's funny. I'm surprised that a lot of people don't like the title. I've never put out kind of a humorous album title, and friends of mine years ago were saying, you've got to put out a record called this. And, I'm surprised, actually, that so many people think it's really dumb.
No, I think it's great.
I thought it was kind of funny.
So, tell me, how long of a process of putting this whole thing together? How did this get started? The career retrospective, was it your idea? Did somebody come to you with the idea? How did that come about?
Well, this guy named Stephen Judge, who has a label called Second Motion, put out my last 3 records. We just thought it was about time to do something like this and sort of get all the different songs from different eras into an attractive package, and sort of a just summation of what had been happening so far. And it just felt like it was time and it was the right thing to do.
So call my name in the wind. Now I know just where you've been. When I say you've never really been gone.
Well, tell me about the track listing of it's in chronological order. Who picked it, and was it a difficult process?
I did it all.
You did it all, okay.
I spent months and months selecting the songs, drafting, first draft, second draft. Basically, I picked the songs that I thought were the best in the canon, so to speak.
Okay, all right.
I could have gone the other route and picked a lot of unreleased stuff, but I decided I didn't want to go there. I picked the songs that I was the most proud of, and I know that there's stuff that people no one's going to be completely satisfied with this thing except me, and that was okay. And that's
right.
That was really
that's
what
fine.
I wanted to do. I mean, you know, everyone has their favorite songs. When I get a greatest or a best of collection by people, I go, oh, they didn't put this, they didn't put that. But basically, I just selected the songs that I wanted to be on there, and you know, 80% of it was very obvious.
Right.
There were certain songs that had to be on there. And then there was a bit of a creative leeway in there, and I just went with what I like the best. So
tell me, you had a chance to listen to all these tracks probably numerous times. You said you were sort of tinkering with the track listing.
Oh, yeah.
Did anything kind of...
Changed it till the very last minute in the mastering.
Right, okay. So, I mean...
I had to make these, last minute, I don't want that one on.
Right.
Put this one on.
Okay. All right. So I mean, was there, in listening to the stuff, was there things that sort of made you cringe and things you maybe forgot how good they were, or any of those kind of
If
feelings?
anything made me cringe, it did not make the record.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? There are some songs on my records that I don't care for and I regret. And it's funny because I think you ask a couple songwriters, I won't name them, and I don't. It's not obviously anyone I've really worked with, but I'm sure there are people that think that everything they do is fantastic. I'm not one of those people. So I think I'm a pretty good editor when I went back through it all, and cringe moments were left on the cutting room floor.
Right.
When I fall apart, you'll face the world outside. But don't walk away until your feelings die.
Tell me this: you grew up in Bethesda, Maryland, and that's where you started playing. Then how on earth did you get connected with a little record label out of Durham, North Carolina, Dolphin Records? How did that work out?
We put out a record in 1982 called Strange Alliance, and we played a lot around the D.C., Virginia, Baltimore area, and we would make these trips up to New York. We had major labels check us out, and I remember going up to New York and doing these showcases, which were very intimidating and scary, in a kind of a dark rehearsal studio for one A&R guy. And we did a bunch of those, and a bunch of people came down to D.C. to check us out, obviously with no success. My manager knew a guy in Boston who worked for a marketing firm called Side One, and they were in New York and L.A., and they had a label out of Durham, or the Triangle area in North Carolina,
right,
and a young, hip, smart lawyer, rock fan who ran it. They were looking for something that we had sort of a fan base.
Right.
And they released this EP, and college radio back then really took to it because we were sort of in the right place at the right time. The only time in my career I have been, because this whole sort of mid-Atlantic southern pop thing was going on with R.E.M., Let's Active,
yep,
DBs. Well, DBs were a little earlier. And for once, I was sort of in vogue.
And so that was produced by you guys. You just produced the 6-song EP, and then came another EP. You had the Back Again EP.
Once you try to make it like you like, falling down my pride, letting me go.
You had a chance to work with T-Bone Burnett and Don Dixon, and what's kind of funny is, I mean, that's what, like 83, 84, and here it is, years and years later, T-Bone Burnett is like a Mr. Hotshot producer. Did you see any kind of flashes of brilliance back then, or was he still finding his way?
Well, it's funny. So what the idea that Dolphin's plan was, let's do a full album, and let's get us kind of a named producer. And they contacted Marshall Crenshaw.
Oh, okay.
But he wanted too much money, or his manager did.
Okay.
And Don Dixon had done the 2 R.E.M. records with Mitch Easter, so he was on board. They wanted another person, so T-Bone Burnett kind of entered the picture. And he had just finished producing the Los Lobos record. He did a lot of sort of under-the-radar producing in the 70s, like he did Maria Muldaur and all kinds of people like that.
Right.
He was really funny and charming, but I don't know how into the project he was really in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you ended up
dubious intentions.
Okay. But you ended up recording an entire album's worth of material there.
Called Songs from the Film, which was supposed to come out on Dolphin.
Okay.
In the interim, we played the New Music Seminar we recorded the album with T-Bone and Don in summer of '84. And in August, we did the New Music Seminar in New York, which was sort of like what South by Southwest is now.
Right.
You know, everyone went to New York for this big music convention. And we had been talking to some people and A&R people, and long story short, this guy who worked at Elektra, Tom Zutaut, his assistant saw us, and he came to see us in October in D.C. that year, and we just walked back in the dressing room and said, "Welcome to Elektra Records."
Huh, okay.
So it was this sort of like fairy tale dream come true. Called me up 2 months later and said, "Wait, I'm changing companies. I'm going to Geffen, so now you're going to be on Geffen Records."
Huh.
So in the meantime, though, he said, "But I don't want this T-Bone Burnett Dixon record coming out."
Huh, okay.
If you put it out, the deal is off.
Wow, okay.
Here we are going, all right, this might be our only chance. So we worked out something with Dolphin where they would get royalties, but these people that had been planning this plan for a year or so were very unhappy. It ended not too well, but we went ahead, signed with Geffen, then made the songs from the film record that came out in '86.
You know what to do. Well, sometimes I feel like letting go, and I swear that it's true. Yeah, my mother looked like Marilyn Monroe.
One of the biggest mistakes in my career was not saying to these people, "We've made this record, we're going to put it out. If you still want to work with us, great."
Right.
Because we had the Places That Are Gone EP was top 10 CMJ. We had a big buzz going, and we should have put this T-Bone Don Dixon record songs from the film out. Then, if they were still willing to go along with it, make the major label debut, because it just would have completely paved the way for, I think, better things.
Right. Instead, you took a bunch of time off.
Like, okay, we won't. And then
right.
I think that was a big mistake.
And then the songs from the film that came out on Geffen was produced by Jeff Emmerich, a guy that
right.
was an engineer with the Beatles and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think the Emmerich record is very jangly, and we wanted a bigger rock tough sound.
Really? Okay. All right.
We really wanted to go in with someone like Bob Clearmountain and make a really loud, big rock record, but keep all the sort of folk rock influences and Beatlesque touches.
Right.
And that's something Emmerich did not achieve. That was why we had problems with the record, and the label, too. They wanted because live, we were always this loud, sort of raucous rock and roll band.
Right, okay.
And that was sort of our thing. We're not like a wimpy, power pop, jangly band in that genre. We're
right.
kind of we have those attractive tendencies, but we're a rock and roll band.
Right.
We like to play loud and kick it out.
A rebel starts to fall apart. Now I know you've been a long time missing, and the world won't listen to the long time missing in your life.
This guy has written books. He engineered Sgt. Pepper's, but you got to realize this guy produced and engineered Air Supply records.
Right.
He gets all this kudos for
right.
Imperial Bedroom,
right.
which is my favorite Elvis Costello record.
Sure.
Which is why we hired him. But he did a lot of really crappy stuff.
Right.
You know, and that record suffered. It sounds like it. He didn't listen to the radio. He said, "I hate this loud, incessant snare drum you guys like," and that was what you needed to get on the radio in the '80s.
Right.
You needed this competitive sound before a program director would even consider adding your record.
Right.
I learned a valuable lesson. Don't find a producer whose records that he's produced you like. Find the producer that's going to get the sound you want.
Exactly, yeah. So, no, that the songs from the film came out, and then some months later they put out the Run Now EP, which was fascinating because that contained some of the T-Bone Burnett, Don Dixon leftovers.
Damage Control.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. And
let's get something out that sort of appeases the people that did not like songs from the film.
Right. And then but it also appeased you. You said you wanted to work with Bob Clearmountain, and you did with Run Now then, right?